Welcome back, YouTube. Today we're going to go over the basics you need to know as a beginner for every single ghost in Phasmophobia. All 21 of them, I believe now. And we're going to make it short, sweet, and productive. I noticed there's some other guides out there that are really long, a lot of information to soak up. So this is just going to be the basics of what you need to know. If you like Phasmophobia content, whether it's funny Phasmophobia content or serious, informative guides, stuff like that, I do it all on my channel. So it would really help me out if you subscribed, like this video. Of course, leave a comment if you have any questions about how to play Phasmophobia or how the ghosts work, how the equipment works, any of that stuff. Also, follow me on Twitch, where I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a great free way to support. Hope to see you guys over there. Let's get started. Here we go. Before we start rattling off these ghosts, keep in mind that this description underneath the ghost you see here, a lot of it is just lore. It doesn't actually accurately describe how the ghosts mechanically work in the game. So it's fun to read, it's cool stuff, but what I'm going to explain to you today is how the ghosts actually work in the game and what you should be looking for, so you're not kind of confused by the descriptions, the vague descriptions it leaves under the ghost name. Alright, the first ghost is Spirit. What you need to know about spirits is smudging. Yeah, giggity. The smudge stick with the spirit is very key, because when you smudge the spirit's ghost room where it's occupying, it's not going to hunt for 3 minutes. So that's the spirit's weakness. So you can identify a spirit by smudging late in the round, and if the ghost hunts before 3 minutes, it's not a spirit. And if it hunts after the 3 minutes, it still might not be a spirit, but it's a lot more likely to be a spirit. Ghost number 2, the nasty Wraith. Now, Wraiths are very, very dangerous for a couple reasons. They're sort of menaces, and they're going to scare the heck out of you. The reason they're going to scare you is because they can basically teleport to any player when their sanity is really low, away from the ghost room. They can just, you know, you're in Tanglewood in the boys' room in the front, and your teammate's over in the kitchen, and all of a sudden the ghost appears in front of them in the kitchen and just terrorizes them. It can also hunt like that too. So if you notice the ghost teleporting around a lot, not actually switching ghost evidence rooms, but just having a ghost event or a hunt starting, you know, out of place, could be a Wraith. Also, a good way to test for them is they don't leave footprints. So you put down the salt, you put down a UV. Every ghost in the game, when they step in that salt, are going to leave green footprints. After they step in the salt, you'll hear the stomps. You'll always see green footprints with every ghost except for the Wraith. So the salt test for the Wraith, valid way to do it. Alright, phantoms. These are also kind of dangerous because they're known for going invisible. Yeah, so when you take a picture of a phantom, it just disappears. And you'll know it's a phantom because you have to listen. So a lot of times during a ghost event, the ghost is singing or making some kind of noise. When it's a phantom, when you take a picture, it'll disappear, but that noise will continue. So you'll know that you'll have the sense the ghost is still there, you just can't see it as soon as you snap the picture. Also, during hunts, every single ghost flickers in and out of visibility. The phantom takes more time in the invisible state, so they're really a menace because they can be difficult to judge how far away they are when they go invisible for more than just that split second. So there's a phantom for you. One other thing you gotta know about the phantom, it drains sanity when you're looking at it. So when it's hunting or during a ghost event, it can really destroy your sanity, so be aware of that. If you notice the sanity decreasing very fast around ghost events, could be a phantom. Alright, Poultrygeist, the master of the yeet. Poultrygeists love to throw multiple objects at the same time. Okay, at the same time. So you can have a pile of objects, and they might throw, you know, you can throw all the paint cans in the pile with whatever else is laying around. I'm having a mental a day. So yeah, if you make a pile of objects that are throwable, they can throw more than one at a time. You know that's a Poultrygeist. It's the only ghost that can do that. Also, what's weird about Poultrygeists is they're often mistaken for shades, because if it's in a room that doesn't have many throwable objects, it's going to be pretty inactive. So keep that in mind too. If you think you might have a shade because it's hard to find the ghost, see if there's anything it can throw in the room. And if there's not, put some stuff in there and see if it poulters around and just yeets everything. Alright, the Banshee. The Banshee's really cool, but it's really weak. Yeah, the Banshee targets one person at a time. Okay, so you know if during a hunt the ghost just goes right by you, and for that one person it's a Banshee, you can have the ghost run right through you during the hunt. It's not going to kill you if it's a Banshee. But that makes it kind of easier to deal with in some ways, because it can be once you figure out who it's targeting, it can be kind of predictable. The target must be the person that gets the smudge objective. So if you have that smudge objective for a Banshee, the person it's going after has to do the smudge. And if the target does leave the house, it's good to know that the Banshee, in a recent update I believe, will switch the target. So it is capable of switching without killing the person. Also, fun little mini game is at the end. As long as you're not on nightmare mode, If you know it's a Banshee, have your entire squad go in and play some Banshee roulette. All stand in a line, see who it kills. It's really funny, I promise you. All right, the Ginny. The Ginny is pretty quick. It's faster than your average ghost, only though if the power is on. So if the power's off, it'll have a normal speed. So notice if you see the ghost, the Djinn will never turn the breaker off, basically. It's going to keep the power on, and just be perceptive of the speed. That's the basics of what you have to know about the Djinn. All right, the Mare, the emo freaking teenage kid that likes to just chill in the dark in the back and recite poetry until it hunts and kills your whole team. No, just kidding, but maybe seriously, you gotta be careful. Mares are more likely to hunt in the dark. Like 60% sanity, they'll hunt in the dark, like 40% if the lights are on. So they don't necessarily have to hunt from a dark spot. It's just if the lights are out, they're more likely to hunt early. The Revenant, this used to be the most feared ghost by far in Phasmophobia, and the reason is speed. This thing is like Usain Bolt, but dead in the afterlife and hungry for human flesh, trust me. Except when it's not bolting, it's super slow. And why is that? The Revenant is only fast when it's targeting someone, when it's chasing someone on their heels. It speeds up. It's the fastest ghost in the game by far. But when it doesn't have a target, you can actually also identify it by its speed, because say you're in the closet in Tanglewood and you can hear the ghost footstepping around during the hunt. Those footsteps are going to be much slower because the Rev is super slow without a target. So if you hear those really slow footsteps, might be a Rev, and be careful because when it sees you, you might be dealing with the fastest ghost in the game. Now the Shade. The Shade is probably, you know, if it wasn't so introverted, it'd be chilling with that emo kid in the bedroom, you know what I mean? Because the Shade is, it's very introverted. It's not very active. It's probably it's actually definitely the least active ghost in the game. Shades are often frustrating because you spend most of the match trying to find even where it is, and they hunt, I think, at like 35% sanity now, so they take forever to hunt. So generally, when nothing exciting is happening in a match, people suspect it could be a Shade. Also, it's good to know, as it says here in the book, the ghost will not hunt if multiple people are chilling there. So if you have everyone in the ghost room, the ghost is like, I'm not coming out, I'm not feeling social today, I'm gonna chill here in this wall, invisible, and just listen. So that's the Shade. The Demon, in some ways, is kind of the opposite of the Shade. It can hunt up to 100%. So you can walk in to the match, 100% sanity, ready to hunt some ghosts, and this thing can just, there's a small chance it can just ruin your whole day. Start hunting and just destroy you. But aside from that, it is also generally an early hunter and likes to chain hunt. There's a small cooldown between hunts. And one way that you can get creative to test for this is more of an advanced player thing, but when you use something like the cursed objects, they normally have a significant sanity drain. When it's a demon, the cursed objects will drain your sanity less. Yuris. Okay, Yuris also love to just destroy your sanity. So it's another one of them ghosts. You can put it in there with phantoms, I believe, and kind of like the sanity draining ghosts. If you notice that your sanity is diminishing quicker than normal, might be a Yuri. Okay, the Oni is probably the most fun ghost in the game right now because it's so active. You walk into the ghost room and the Oni just starts doing all kinds of stuff. It appears, tons of ghost events, moves stuff around, touches doors. So you know if the ghost is super active, unusually active, you're probably dealing with an Oni. Keep your eyes open. The Yokai. Okay, the Yokai is an early hunter if you're talking around it. The Yokai says, shut your mouth. I'm going to manifest and destroy your whole team right now, as long as you're talking in the ghost room. So if you know you have a Yokai early based on evidence, don't talk in the ghost room. Another way to cleverly figure out if it's a Yokai is during a hunt. I wouldn't recommend trying this because you're probably going to die because there's 21 ghosts and there's only a 1 in 21 chance you're dealing with a Yokai. But if you're talking during a hunt and the ghost has trouble hearing you, it's a Yokai. The Yokai has to be very close during a hunt to hear you and then come kill you. But I wouldn't try that one at home. Be very careful. All right, the Hantu. The Hantu is, all in all, I think a pretty weak ghost, but it's pretty cool at the same time because it has this special visual ability where when the ghost room is going to be freezing if it's a Hantu, whether you're in nightmare mode or regular mode. In nightmare mode, you're guaranteed freezing with the Hantu. But when it's moving through that freezing, A, it's going to be faster, and B, you're going to be able to see its breath as it exhales. So if you see any ghost breath at all in this game when it's chasing you, it's a Hantu. Really cool. But it's super slow in the warm. So you'll find the Hantu turning the breaker off a lot to make it colder, and you'll see a definite speed change from the freezing room to regular house. Goryo. Goryo is known probably by most people as the dots ghost, and the reason we would call it the dots ghost is because you're always going to have dots, whether you're on nightmare or regular, even on nightmare mode, you're going to get dots, but you can only see dots through a video camera. So if you have someone see dots in person in the house, rule out Goryo right away. But if you have someone call dots from the trailer and Goryo is still a possibility, you're going to have someone camp out on the inside and test that theory. Make sure it's the new player that's not really sure how the game goes and just say, you know, you're safe. Just go in there and look for some dots, and we're just going to chill in the trailer. Just make sure they don't get too close, because if they get too close, it's going to be a lot less active. You want to kind of look from like a different room or something. Get clever with the placement, so if it's like in the garage at Tanglewood, maybe look from the laundry room. Try to see dots there in person. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're right up there on the dots projector, it's a lot less active. All right, now we have the Myling Cyrus. Very dangerous ghost. And it is known as being a sneaky, quiet ghost. So during the hunt, Mylings are going to close in closer to you before you hear their footsteps, basically. So with most ghosts, you'll hear the footsteps before your electronic equipment starts to distort. Outside that range, you'll hear the footsteps. With the Myling, I think you start to hear the footsteps after. It can be very tricky to figure that one out unless you're on a bigger map, because in like a Tanglewood or a Willow, if the ghost is underneath you, it's still going to distort because it's still close to the equipment. So it can be difficult unless you're like prison, high school, asylum, campsite, that kind of thing. Also, it's more likely to use the parabolic, so give that a shot. All right, the Onryo, the Candlelight Vigil Ghost. I just made that up right now. That's pretty good. But basically, Onryos, they blow out a candle early in the match. They can hunt all the way up to 100%. They have a chance to hunt. So a good way to test for this, since when you're holding a candle, you don't lose sanity, is to right off the bat, take a candle in and see if it blows it out and hunts. If it does, it's an Onryo. Also, if you have multiple candles, it can really decrease the chance that it's going to hunt, because it has to blow out a candle. So if it just blows out one and there's others nearby, you're safe. It doesn't like fire. All right, the twins. This is a super, super cool ghost because there's two of them. Okay, they look the same. They move at different speeds. One twin's going to be a little faster, one twin's going to be a little slower. So if you're getting chain hunted and you feel like the ghost is changing speeds on you, probably the twins. Also, another way to determine if it's twins is interactions. So you have a soda can thrown in one room, and you hear another room, a door being moved at the same time. It's twins. You know it, it's twins. As far as evidence goes, you're going to find all three evidences in the cold room. So if the room is freezing, you're going to get your spirit box entry EMF there. But wherever the secondary twin is, wherever else on the map, you could get an EMF 5 with that twin as it's doing interactions. So if you're getting EMF 5 somewhere, but it's not cold and there's no other evidence, check for other rooms if you think it could be the twins. All right, Raiju, this is it's gonna kill you. Okay, this is the new scariest ghost in Phasmophobia, and the reason I say that is because it's an early hunter, and B, it's fast. And not only is it fast, it's almost as fast as a Rev, but it's almost as fast as a Rev all the time when it's around electronic equipment, which is just about when do you ever go into Phasmophobia without electronic equipment. So if you have a dots projector on the ground, if you have a camera light on the ground, if you have a flashlight in your hand, any of that stuff, the Raiju is zooming around looking for people to just destroy. It wants to add to its afterlife army, and it's coming for you. Fast, early hunter. Yeah, look out. All right, now the Obake. The Obake is guaranteed to leave you a fingerprint on nightmare mode. It's the only ghost that has a chance to not leave a fingerprint. There's a 75% chance that it touches something and leaves a fingerprint on it, when all other ghosts are 100. And there's also a chance that its fingerprints disappear earlier. Now, the trademark ability, and it's rare, but it's really cool when you see it, is sometimes it'll leave a fingerprint with 6 fingers. It's really cool. All right, and now the last ghost, the Mimic. The Mimic is a ghost that is going to mimic any other ghost in the game. So, and it can mimic multiple ghosts during the same ghost hunt. So, say it hunts once, it's fast like a Rev, and then it starts acting like a Shade and it doesn't want to hunt, and then all of a sudden you got a Raiju on your hands. You know, so it can act like a bunch of different ghosts. The evidence is spirit box, fingerprints, and freezing temperatures, but the Mimic is always going to leave ghost orbs in the orb room. It's going to be the orbiter in the ghost room. It's always going to leave an orb in there, and that orb is a fake orb. So if you ever get an orb ghost in Phasmophobia, my method is just check the journal and see if a Mimic would still be a possibility, and then try and get the other evidence. If you're not on nightmare mode, you're going to get 4 evidences. One of them is always going to be orbs. If you are on nightmare mode, you're always going to get 3 evidences. So that's how you identify a Mimic. I always check now, every time I have orbs, just to make sure that we can rule out Mimic. Alright guys, that was every ghost in the game. I'm sure I missed a few things. I'm filming this pretty quickly, but those are just the basics of what you need to know. There are a lot more detailed things you can go into with the ghosts, but I wanted to really save you time as a beginner so you can hop in and have just a quick guide on on how to deal with these ghosts and not be completely left in the dark, giggity, especially with a mare.